In the lush kingdom of Nyoro, nestled between rolling hills and a river that shimmered like gold at sunset, ruled King Adero. He was a fair and just king, beloved by his people, and his reign had brought peace and prosperity to the land. But the king's joy and pride were his twin daughters, Zuri and Zalika, born on the night of a rare lunar eclipse. They were identical in every way, with ebony skin that glowed like polished wood, and hair that flowed like silk, coiling gently at the ends. But their spirits, their spirits, were as different as the sun and the moon. Zuri, the eldest by mere minutes, was a dreamer, a seeker of knowledge. Since she could walk, she had been curious about the world beyond the palace walls. She read books by candlelight, pored over ancient scrolls, and yearned to study at the grand university in the neighbouring kingdom of Alajua. Zalika, on the other hand, was bold and fierce. She relished the grandeur of court life and the adoration of suitors. She was skilled in diplomacy and the art of subtle manipulation, often helping her father in matters of state. As their 18th birthday approached, King Adero had made his decision. It was time for Zuri to marry a nobleman from a powerful family, thereby securing an alliance for the kingdom. Zalika would remain in the court, her wit and charm at her father's side. But Zuri's heart sank at the news. Marriage? She had no desire for courtship or political unions. She longed for lectures and libraries, not the gilded cage of royalty. It was Zalika who found the situation amusing. "Father thinks you're suited for marriage, Zuri. Oh, how little he understands. You'd rather be married to a book than a prince." Zuri frowned, her hands twisting the fabric of her dress. "This isn't a joke, Zalika. I have no choice. He won't listen to reason." Zalika smiled, a wicked glint in her eye. "Who says we have to follow father's plan? We're identical, remember. Why don't we switch places?" Zuri's eyes widened. "You mean you'll pretend to be me and go through with the marriage arrangements?" "Exactly. And you, dear sister, will take my place in the palace while I handle the suitors. You can go to university in secret." Zuri hesitated. "But what if father finds out? What if—" "He won't," Zalika interrupted. "Not if we're careful." The plan was dangerous, but the temptation of escaping her fate was too strong for Zuri to resist. And so, on the day of their 18th birthday, the twins swapped roles. Zalika dressed in Zuri's simple scholar's robes and began preparing for her new life as a student. Zuri adorned herself in her sister's finery, ready to play the part of the charming royal. As the days turned into weeks, the deception worked flawlessly. King Adero marveled at how Zuri had suddenly taken an interest in court affairs and was willing to entertain suitors. Meanwhile, the real Zuri reveled in her newfound freedom, devouring knowledge at the university. But as their lives continued to unfold, the tension between them grew. One evening, a grand ball was held in the palace to announce the engagement of Zuri to Prince Omari of Alajua. Zalika, in Zuri's place, had charmed the prince, who found her wit and beauty irresistible. But Zalika had no intention of marrying the prince. She had only played along to keep up the charade. As the night of the announcement approached, Zalika realized that her cleverness had outplayed even her. She found herself trapped, not by her father's expectations, but by her own ambition. She couldn't back out without causing a scandal, and Zuri's deception would be revealed. Zalika summoned Zuri to a secret meeting in the palace gardens, beneath the ancient baobab tree, where they had often played as children. The moon hung low in the sky, casting long shadows as Zalika paced. "This has gone too far," Zalika said, her voice sharp. "Prince Omari has proposed, and father expects me to accept. You need to return. End this madness." Zuri, dressed in her sister's court attire, shook her head. "No, I can't. I've found my place, Zalika. I'm finally free. You have to finish what we started." "And marry a man I don't love? A man I barely know?" Zalika scoffed. "You think this was just a game?" Zuri's face softened. "I didn't mean for it to go this far, but if we tell father the truth, we'll ruin everything. The kingdom depends on this alliance. Zalika clenched her fists. This was never about the kingdom for you. This was about running away. Before Zuri could respond, the sound of footsteps interrupted them. From the shadows emerged Prince Omari himself, his expression unreadable. He had overheard everything. So it was all a lie, he said quietly, his eyes flickering between the two sisters. Which one of you is Zuri, and which one is Zalika? The twins stood frozen, their deception laid bare. But before either could speak, King Adero appeared, having followed the prince. "My daughters," he said, his voice heavy with disappointment, "I have given you everything, and this is how you repay me? With deceit?" Zalika stepped forward, her chin held high. "It was my idea, father. Zuri wanted to study, and I wanted to keep her safe from your plans." Zuri followed suit, her voice trembling. "I never wanted to marry, father. I only wanted to learn." King Adero looked at his daughters, his heart torn between anger and understanding. He turned to Prince Omari, who stood silently, watching the family's drama unfold. "Omari," King Adero began, "the choice is now yours. I cannot force you to marry either of them. The deception may have been Zalika's idea, but Zuri is no less guilty." Omari studied the twins for a long moment. Then, to everyone's surprise, he smiled. "I have no interest in marrying someone who does not wish to be my wife," he said gently. "But I admire both of you, for your ambition and your bravery. It seems to me that your kingdom is blessed with two incredible women." With that, Prince Omari bowed and took his leave, and the kingdom of Njoro avoided a scandal. King Adero, though still hurt, allowed Zuri to return to the university, understanding that she would never be happy in the role he had planned for her. Zalika, however, remained at his side, a force to be reckoned with in the court, using her cleverness to protect the kingdom in ways no one expected. And though the twins had deceived the kingdom, they found their own paths, different yet equally powerful together.